Yo, what's good, fam? It's your man Jay. I'm back with another episode of Evolutionary Comics, and today, in the light that I've gotten this nice, beautiful CGC 9.8 comic in the mail of Milestone Returns, I'm hooked. I have to admit that I am hooked. So, being that I'm hooked and I want more, I am finally about to start submitting to CGC. It's right across the bridge over there in Sarasota. So I think that I'm going to get me a little package together and I'm going to go see them people about some slabs. So I got my little stack and I'm going to show you guys what I'm thinking about submitting for the first time. So you guys let me know if it's a yay or a nay. I think I have about 25 books here. I think my first submission, I'm actually only going to submit 10 with the first batch, and then I'll submit the other 15, and I may add a couple more to it after that. But to find out, you gotta watch. Stick with me. Let's get it. Alright, so I got my stack flipped upside down. So these are 25 books that I think are my top contenders to be submitted for CGC grading. I'm not going to do the pre-grading thing where I'm only going to ask for like 9.8s, because there's a couple of books in here that I know are definitely not 9.8s, but I do want them to be actually graded. I want them to get them graded. So I'm going to have them pressed and cleaned and all of that other jazz first, and then I'll have them submitted, and we'll see where we go. So the first book is, this one is strictly for the cover. This is one of my favorite covers of all time, and this is Black #1, and this is by Black Mask, and it's the fried pie variant. And yeah, so as you see, this cover is hella dope. This series was hella hot. Right now they're on the White series, the sequel to Black, and eventually I got a couple variant covers from that I want to get submitted as well. But as of right now, Black #1, the fried pie variant, is going to be the first contender. Next up is Batman, DC Comics Batman #21, and this is the New 52, and this is the first appearance of Duke Thomas, aka the Signal. And with this one, I'm a big Duke Thomas fan. I really wasn't a fan of Batman, still not a fan of Batman. Don't know, how I feel really about the new Batman just yet. I've been collecting, I've been reading, so I'm hoping to see something great from it. But in the meantime, I do hope that they eventually bring Duke Thomas, aka the Signal, to the screen. And this is his first appearance, so that's why that's a contender. Next up is my Black Panther #1, and this is the first run other than Jungle Action. And there's really not a whole lot I can really tell you. If you don't know, you don't know. But this is going to be submitted as well. It's in pretty good condition. I don't think it's going to get to 9.8, but I do believe that it should be like between an 8.5 and probably a 9 too. Once it gets cleaned and pressed, then definitely. It has some little ink marks up in the title, from being rubbed with other books, but that's going to be a contender. Alright, so next up is my Christopher Priest run of Black Panther #1, and this is the variant cover, and I think this is the Palmiotti cover, and it has this certificate of authenticity in the back. Don't really think that has anything that's gonna have any bearing on it, but it's the Dynamic Forces Inc. Exclusive alternate cover. So, but it's a really dope cover, and like I said, I have like multiple copies of this particular issue. So this is the one that's in the best condition. All of them are in high grade condition, but I'm gonna submit that one as well. And right along with that is the main A cover of that Christopher Priest run. Gonna submit this one too, and that's the Black Panther #1. And yeah, so gonna submit both of those right along. So that's 3 Black Panther #1s. I have a whole lot of Black Panther comics that I eventually want to get submitted. A lot of the variant covers, but I want to get this main pack out first before I start getting into, you know, other books being out there. Alright, so next up is Truth #1, and this is the first appearance of Isaiah Bradley. I found this at like a little obscure comic book shop, and I found the entire run, and I got the entire run plus about 10 other books for less than $50. So this is definitely going to be, you know, a big bonus to my collection once this one gets slabbed. I do believe this is in the most perfect condition that it could be in. I don't see any errors. The only thing that may have any issue is if you can look real close, you'll see the lineup, the pressing lineup isn't completely, you know, perfect. That's the only thing, the imperfection of this book, but hopefully it still garners a 9.8. Next up is Black #1, and this is, I have a couple of these as well. This is the main cover, and I just love this book. I love the book, and I do believe that, you know, this is something that should be preserved. I think I have about 3 of these particular covers of the main cover. I don't know which ones are in the best condition. I just happened to grab that one for, you know, this video because it was the one that cost me the most. I think this one cost me $22, and one cost me like $5, and I forget. I think one was cover price, and then one was a little bit over cover price. But what you think? Y'all think this is gonna be a good item to submit? Y'all hit me in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. All right. So next up from Dark Horse Comics, this is Predator #1, and this was a gift from my son. He got me a pack of comic books. He stopped by a comic book shop one day, and as you see, he only paid 75 cents for it. I saw this in the Go Collect, and I'm thinking that a 9.8 was like, I think the price was like $900, something crazy like that. I'm not sure. I gotta recheck it again. But yeah, this one is in perfect condition. It has like a few little bends right here, but there's no discoloration for those spine ticks. Once it gets pressed out, I do believe this one would definitely garner a 9.8. That's what I'm predicting. And in the end, once I get ready to, you know, narrow it down to my top 10, I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to actually predict grades, and I'm going to write them down and everything and say what I think the grade is. And when I get them all back and I do, you know, the unboxing video of my CGC submissions, I'm going to share it with you guys as well. We'll see how close I can get to predicting, you know, and doing the grading process myself. All right, so next up I have Strange Academy #1. And this has been a pretty hot book. I do believe it's going to get hotter. This is a variant cover. I do think this is going to get hotter. I do have another #1, which is actually the second printing. And I'm anxious to see, actually, I'm not sure where I put it. It's around here somewhere. Anyway, but yeah, so once that comes out, once they do announce a movie or something like that, or, you know, once it gets optioned for a show, whatever happens, it is definitely going to be hot. I do believe it's going to probably end up being on Disney Plus, because it is seeming like that's something that could be an ongoing, continuous series, because there's a lot of new characters, a lot of young characters, and I think it's going to touch bases with the younger group of kids. Not only that, but you know, my own spec thought process is that they're moving towards like the young Avengers and a lot of the younger characters, you know, especially with Riri and Miles leading the way. Once they do that, and, you know, they're going to bring in all these younger teams, so it's time for, you know, the older ones to get pushed to the side, I guess, or, you know, play the background and let the young people do their thing, just like real life, I guess. All right, so next up I have Far Sector #1, and this is Sojourner Mullen, and she is the Green Lantern Joe Mullen. She is very dope. I love this book. I was so happy when it came out. It's by N.K. Jemisin. I was never into the Green Lantern. Even with John Stewart, I was never really into that character until she came along. I do have, I think I have 2 #1 copies of that particular book, and so one of them has to get graded. So, you know, one to rock, one to stock, like the sneakerheads say. So I do think that's a good candidate. Y'all let me know. Alright, so next up is my Luke Cage Power Man #19, and this is the first appearance of Cottonmouth. and it's in really good condition. I actually have two of these. What I've been doing is I've been buying doubles of everything, because when I first started getting back into collecting, I wasn't astute enough, I would say, to buy multiple copies of each thing. I was just happy to have that first copy, come across it, I get one for me, and that was it. I never really was into like trying to flip books or anything like that. But now I do see the value in it, because if you have enough of a certain particular book, you can flip those books and get something that's higher up on your list. So I'm still really young at this whole collecting thing. I collect with my heart. I used to collect with my heart. Now I'm starting to collect more with my mind. Being that, these covers are amongst my favorite. I absolutely love these particular covers. I love the covers from this particular era. I love seeing when I was collecting, and this is when I was a younger kid. I love seeing, the black people on the cover, because like mainstream magazines, you didn't really have a lot of covers with black people on it, unless it was like Ebony or Jet magazine, or like a Sports Illustrated when you had the athletes. But regular magazines, they really didn't have a lot of black people on it. So these comic books, when they started coming out, and this one is, 70s, 80s, in that time period, when I was a little kid, that's when they started popping, and I was loving it. So I love these covers nevertheless, and I do believe that, in fact, this is one that, this is going to be a candidate for later, but this one is one of my favorite characters. Brother Voodoo and Spider-Man team up, and this villain is Moondog. I just love this cover from the first time that I saw it. I'm not going to submit that one just in this top 25, but it eventually will get submitted. Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that, for my love of the covers. Alright, so next up is Spidey Super Stories number 11. And this is a book that I chased and I wanted. It was in my most wanted list. If you looked at some of my earlier videos as far as my most wanted list, this was a book that I definitely had to have. And this one has Valerie the Librarian in it. And she is known as the very first black Spider-Woman. She's the first Spider-Woman, period. And, so this is something that being Spider-Man is, in my top 3 favorite characters all time. This is something that I had to have, and I'm definitely going to get this slabbed. It's not in the greatest condition. It's definitely not in the 9 range. It's probably, I would say, once it's cleaned and pressed, it's probably going to be in the 8 range, I hope. It does have dog-ear bends here and here. So that's why I said I don't want to actually, put any stipulations or, the pre-grading process. I just want to let it be what it's going to be. Hopefully, if I get it cleaned and pressed, I'll get the highest grade possible. So, alright, next up is one of a modern age book, a recent book, and this book is fire. I love this cover. This is Miles Morales. This is the annual number 1 from this year, 1 in 25. You see, I paid $40 for it, and this is another cover pick. It's Miles Morales because he's one of my favorite characters, but it is based on this cover, and I definitely need to have this slabbed. Me and my buddy Adam at Emerald City, we were talking the other day, and we're talking about the whole conversation of to slab books or not to slab books. And in the past, I wouldn't slab books, or didn't want to have them slabbed because I considered it like a comic book coffin. Once you put it in the book, or once you put it in the case, then you weren't able to read the book anymore. And I'm like, books are made for reading. So I'm learning and I'm understanding, I'm evolving, like I always like to say, but I'm evolving to understand that it's not only just about the book. That's why you want to buy 2, because one to read it and one to put in, in a slab, because this is artwork. If you look at this and you look at some of the other choices that I've chosen to have slab, this is pure artwork. I'm loving this cover, and it's something that you would want to put up, on display so everybody can see it. So that's my biggest reason for having that one slabbed, to protect it and to display it, for the artwork that it is. What y'all think? Y'all think that's logical, or, let me know. Alright, so next up from DC Universe is my girl Naomi, and this is her number 1. This is the first appearance of Naomi. I'm loving this one. This is another character created by the great Michael Bendis, and it's so funny, when I picked up this particular book, there was like stacks of them. It was like nobody was really paying it any attention, and nobody, there's not a lot of people was buying it basically. and I only got one. I got one cover, and I was content with it, and I moved on. And then it just took off. It just like lit on fire within like a week. And then when I went back, there were no more. So I got another number one, a second printing, the black and white version of it. I got that one, and I think that's all I got as far as number one. But from then on, I was collecting the full run, and I now actually collect the Superman Action Comics series, because was it that one? No, it was Justice League. I'm sorry. It's Justice League that I started collecting purely because she's in that particular series. So anyway, that's my girl Naomi. I'm going to submit that one as well. Alright, so next up I have the Mighty Avengers number 62. And this one is not in very good condition. It looks like it's a little faded, a little ticks here and there. But this is the first appearance of M'Baku. And this is definitely something that that I sought after, and I was looking for it because I love this cover. This is a fire cover. I've seen some remakes of this cover, and the story was different, I believe, but I just saw this cover and I finally got the right one because I wanted the first appearance of M'Baku. He's one of my favorite characters in Black Panther and all of comics, so that's definitely a great pickup for me, and I picked that up from Emerald City Comics as well. Alright, so next up is Farmhand, and this is Rob Gilroy's baby, and I love this story. I'm waiting for them to continue it. I don't know what's up, Rob. If you ever see this video, yo, keep it going, because I know this one was already optioned, and I actually started picking them up with the trades, and then I ended up buying this one. As you see, I bought this one from mycomicshop.com, and I got it for a pretty good price. But there's a couple other number ones that I also want to pick up of this Farmhand series. It's a great series. It is a great read. The story is dope, and yeah, so if you're looking for something to read, that is definitely something to pick up. Don't know if you're gonna find any number ones out in a while. If you do, definitely hang on to them and eventually get them slabbed. Alright, so my next book is Marvel Premiere Iron Fist number 21, and this one is the first appearance of Misty Knight. She's my favorite comic book character of all time. I love her to death. I love the character. I can't wait to see them explore and do more with the character. And yeah, so that's her number one first appearance. It's really brief, but it's still dope. So that is why that one is in the contenders list. Alright, so next up I have Black Panther number 2, and this is the first appearance of Shuri. It's going to be the next Black Panther, so the rumor states, but this is her first appearance, and it makes me mad because when I got this particular book, I actually was buying like multiple copies of Black Panther comics, and I was giving them out, because I had the good one, I had a great one in great condition, and then I would give them out to little kids. So some of the parents in the Tampa Bay area, Clearwater area, if you see my face and you think I'm familiar and I gave your kids some comic books, check those comic books, because this one is definitely going to be valuable. It's already valuable. If you check eBay and the prices, it's going up. So I'm going to get that one slabbed to make sure it's preserved. Don't plan on ever getting rid of it or giving it away or anything else. That one is definitely for the PC. Alright, so next up I have Bitter Root number 1. And this is an award-winning book. This is an award-winning book, an award-winning series. And this is another one. I just picked up just one cover, and I was content with that. And like you said, you live long enough, you'll learn a lot. So yeah, I picked that up. It's a great series. I love it. The teamwork on it, David Walker, Chuck Brown, Sanford Green, they did an excellent job with this book. There's a couple of variant covers to it. You guys want to check them out. Definitely, if you come across them. If you don't want it in your collection, holler at your boy. I'll definitely take it for my collection. Next up is my man Rodney Barnes, Killadelphia number 1. This one is funny because I don't think it's really garnered any blow-up attention as of yet. It eventually will. The story is absolutely great. I just read the latest Killadelphia issue, and it makes me fall in love with Rodney Barnes' writing all over again. Like I feel like he's one of the greatest writers. I put him up there. I know it's a comic book, and people like say, okay, hold up, he's tripping, but you know, I've been reading for a long time, and I've read Langston Hughes, I've read James Baldwin, I've read everything. I've read Richard Wright. All of these are books that, you know, at a young age, between the age of 10 and 17, I was reading all of these books because, you know, that's what my dad required. But I do believe, looking at the writing style and the messages that Rodney Barnes is conveying, he is up there with them, because he's sliding messages in, and you got to be intelligent to understand what he's saying, and you know, you got to read it, and it's very entertaining. You will love the story. I understand why this is an award-winning book as well. Alright, so next up is The Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 16. This is probably one of my first key books, and this is Monica Rambeau, the first Captain Marvel, and I picked that up from Emerald City Comics as well. I think that's one of the first key books that I just like jumped off the ledge and purchased for a higher than like under everything else I was buying was under $10, and this one, as you see, was a $50 book. I'm happy to have it because I know this is gonna blow up. I actually want more copies of this. Get maybe 2 or 3 more copies before the next series, or the next, I don't know what she's gonna be in next. I know it may be the Marvels, but I do believe that they're gonna slide her in to some Marvel movie before then. So it is definitely something that I want to grab a couple of extra copies of as well. Alright, so next up is my girl Riri Williams, and I wasn't able to get that Invincible Iron Man number 7 or number 9 with her first appearances, but I did get this one, her number 1, the first series that she's actually headlining, and her Ironheart series, and I only got one, but stay with me. I only got one of those, but check me out, because I also got the hip hop variant that I'm gonna submit, and I also got, I'm gonna save that one for last, because to me this is my favorite, most valuable book. But anyway, number 2 on my list is Adam Bashir, Legend of Blue Marvel. This is the first high value book that I ever got. My wife purchased this from Tampa Bay Comic Con for me, and you know, we bought it for $100 and went home and checked out the value. Found out at the time that it was worth $1,000. And at that time, it was worth $1,000 as, I guess, a graded copy. So now, raw copies are running for $1,000, and graded copies, I've seen a couple graded copies, 9.8s, for like $3,000. This one is in perfect condition. I haven't like opened it, or I opened it to check it out, but haven't done anything. Hands haven't been laid on it too much since I purchased it. It was on like a little pedestal similar to this one, and that's where it stayed. So anyway, all right, so as we're wrapping it up and getting into the last comic book that I'm going to submit in my top 25 submissions for CGC, before we do that, again, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all the things that you would normally do with a YouTube channel that you're really digging. I'm hoping that if you're watching and you've got to this point, I know I'm like about 20 minutes in, so if you got to this point, it has to be a little bit entertaining to you. I love comics, I love collecting, I love the culture. I'm blurred from birth, and yeah, so continue to help me evolve, because that's what my channel is about. You know, hit me in the comments, let me know, give me some insight, let me know what you think that I should do to allow my collection to grow, allow my channel to grow, and give me your opinion on the top 25 that I've chosen. I have a lot of stuff that could be going out, but this is my top 25. I think these are the ones that are in the best conditions, going to give me the best results. But I don't think that I'm by far done with submitting to CGC. I got a lot of stuff that, you know, that's going to end up being graded. So I'm going to have a lot of these beautiful slabs. And I stick with CGC because it's close, but I do think that, you know, just from my knowledge and me jumping into this comic book culture, that CGC does the best. They're a little slow, a lot slow, but hopefully we're going to be able to change that soon. Anyway, and this is my Invincible Iron Man #1, the Amalgam Comics variant. And this book is dope. I bought this one. There was 3 others left on the shelf. I only grabbed one, but I actually bought it in Philadelphia at Amalgam Comics. My wife and I were there to provide photography services for a wedding, and we made a little side stop. So you got Riri Williams on the cover, the shop owner Ariel Johnson. I absolutely love this particular book. This is probably one of the most favorite books in my collection, one of the most cherished books in my collection. So I definitely want to get this one protected, get it graded, and I'm hoping that it is, like I say, it's in excellent condition. There's like a little, like a little tiny little ding right here. It's not even really noticeable. You got to use a magnifying glass. There's no spine ticks or anything like that. So this book is pretty much perfect as it is. When I get it pressed, because I'm gonna get it pressed, just to be sure. But when I do get it pressed, I am hoping that this one comes out at a 9.8, 9.9, something like that, something above a 9.8, because I do believe that this book has been kept in pristine condition since I purchased it about 3 or 4 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. Anyway, so that is my top 25 of what I'm gonna have submitted for grading at CGC. You guys let me know what you think. Tell me, what you think my possibilities are, or if there's something else that you think that you've seen in some of my previous videos that I should also get graded. I got a lot of stuff, and as you see, I pick up a lot of variant covers as well. Those will be in probably my 3rd submission. So the first top 10 is going to be in my #1 submission. Then I'm going to submit the other 15, and then I'm going to continue to go on from there, because it is very difficult to have things away at CGC, some of your favorite books, and not to be able to look at it or to touch it. That it's in somebody else's hands, and you're just waiting to get it back. So that's the whole thing with that. Anyway, it's continuing to be an evolution. I'm evolving into a CGC graded comic owner. I'm owning slabs and whatnot. So in the meantime, y'all continue to evolve. Holla at your boy. This is Evolutionary Comics, and we out.